Yo, what's up guys, welcome back. So, Spellbooks, new TCG format, updated Ronin Totem band, a couple of, tier element hits, some random cards back, mainly looking at Spellbook of Judgment. We saw this one coming, it came back on Master Duel and in the OCG as well some time ago. So, the build that I'm using is somewhat different than the one that I was using on Master Duel, simply because Nadir Servant is at 3, it's back at 3 here for us TCG players. So again, I'm using that extra deck, I guess, and that small shit-all package to go for a potential Winda. It's there. It's basically another Yugioh, right? Only one of in the main deck. One of is fine. No. One thing that I also added was Toontable. Toontable is could potentially be a huge brick, but again, another difference compared to the Master Duel decklist is that we can use the Dark Magician ritual, the one that searches Magician's souls. Why not? Plus, the potential Toon World searched from the Toon Table of Contents, you can just discard or send to the graveyard to draw one off of a Soul's effect. So, in theory, it sounds really good. And the thing is that, and that's the same problem I had on Master Duel, even though, well, they have 3 upstart and potentially 3 chicken game as well. I needed more spells. Like, if I activate Judgment, I needed those random spells like, Upstart, maybe the Pots, if you, Pots, Prosperity you can't, but you know what I mean. You want more spells to trigger or at least get a lot of value, or as much value as possible from your Spellbook of Judgment. And that's why the Toon Table of Contents is there. Again, not the best card, but I think it's well worth it, especially if you are able to get off your Judgment. And again, you have multiple ways to get to your Judgment with, all the available resources. So going first, going second against multiple decks in the new format. Dinosaur should be in here, Sprite, obviously. This is a mine build. Again, not a huge... I don't know about mine. Maybe... But again, people are, prepared for that. Plus, Runic Sprite might be the deck to beat in case of Sprite. But I feel that Tier Element is just on another level for now, early format. So, okay, that's cute. Running the swaps still. Again, Ronin Toad in its band. But I guess running, a couple of swaps. Not sure about dupe. But I guess it works out protecting your field. It could be a dead draw, but maybe in the new format it might be worth it. I'm honest, the Call by the Grave was a bit iffy, but it's still a game winner against Toad, and if it wasn't for Call by, the game would have been much more different. But, Call by, it's Call by the Grave. It's at 1. So the Fleurs, that's the thing, right? The Dogmatica package kinda doesn't need you or force you to run the Star Hall, I believe the name is. It gives you 100 extra attack points for every counter on spellcasters, I believe, on your side of the field. Because again, the Dogmatica package gives you more pump, more attack power, more negation as well because of Fleur. Potentially could also open up a more Exceed plays, more extra, Exceed, Link plays, extra deck plays. Well, as you saw in the deck, I was running, a fairly staple Spellbook decklist as it was, being played back in the old school days, back in 2013. Some small changes like only 1 power, what's the Spellbook, the left one, the right one now. It gets 1 from your banished pile back to your hands. Is it Eternity? I think so. Just fine as a one-off, no field spell. It's kind of slow. And that's the thing, right? I mean, if it turns into a grind game, the field spell is delicious. But if it doesn't turn into a grind game, and with the current format, probably not. Well, it depends on the matchup, but Tears, no way. The deck is just too fast. You want negation, so that's like, I'm looking at Spellbook of Power. Is that even needed? Like, in theory, it sounds really good. But, battle phase, attacking, during your first turn is not doing anything. Like, is it still needed, right? And maybe something that I want to try out is Spellbook Runic. Again, speaks for itself, a lot of spells. Plus, as you know, Spellbook of Judgment is a quick play spell, right? So you could potentially activate it during your opponent's turn. Like, in theory, it sounds cute, but in practice, maybe. So drop souls, again, here is where, I mean, this is the reason why you're running Toon Table. Get as much value as possible off of your Spellbook of Judgment. Like, without Toon Table, And you know, on Master Duel you have triple chicken game, you have terraform and triple upstart to try to get as many spells activated during the turn you activate Spellbook or Judgment. I feel it's not that bad to use Toontable, and again, those spells can just be discarded or sent to the graveyard off of the souls. So sitting on Yugioh, like going first, sitting on Yugioh is super solid, I'm not going to lie. I'm only running one Wisdom to protect my spellcasters from spells or traps. Mostly Yugioh for Imperm, for example, or maybe first turn. If you like normal summon Blue Boy and your opponent has an Imperm, again, could be somewhat popular still. Wisdom is there. 2 Wisdom might be a bit too much, because again, it might brick. That's the story, right? I still prefer Judgments, potentially negating the summon with Yugioh on field, plus, you know, board wipes, potential droplet Imperms as well, if needed, to protect Yugioh. So, Solemn Judgment, but again, Judgment, not that good going second, but that's why the side deck is there, you know, or the side deck is for. Potentially hitting those, or getting rid of the Solemns for board wipes, Dark Ruler, and you know, the good stuff. So this turns out, you know, really well for Spellbooks. Going second against Steers, this feels super hard. You obviously want to go first against Steer, but we see the Dark Ruler, so yeah, maybe a Wisdom could be cool here in this situation if I went first, but I'm not. So now I have to break boards going first, game number 1 pre-side deck. That's iffy. That's really iffy, especially with a Masquerina there. So that's a potential topologic play during my turn. The Redoer is still there for another Kit Kalos during my turn, for example, right? Plus, was a spell attached? I think so. And Heaviness as well, but no hit. So okay, I'm still, you know, alive in the duel. Again, that delicious combination, Spellbook, Judgment, Toontable, really nice. Getting those, you know, free spells, free searches, and a Yugioh, definitely a Yugioh during the end phase. So I still have a chance, but I need to break the board with Spellbooks. But again, I still have options. So Kit Kalos hits the field. What is it? Add something to the hand, or was something sent to the graveyard? I think so, for Dragostaphilia. So I use the Nadir sending the Antis from my deck to the graveyard, hitting the face down back row. I think we knew it was a Celiac. And again, try to, you know, yeah, indeed, negate Dragostaphilia, surge the trap. Eventually, you know, the whatchamacallit, the Masquerina was forced out, and Bomb or Topologic, something well, it's either Zero Boros, I guess, or Topologic. So I guess it's okay. But I'm still live in the duel. But I make a small mistake, but in the long run it's not going to matter. I should have kept one Spellbook card in hand in order to discard it during the end phase, and then still use Fate. Yeah, indeed, still use Fate Banish, because I only have 2 Spellbooks in grave, you know, that would have been a third, and Fate Banishing 3, hitting one of my opponent's monsters, and then, you know, during my turn I can go for, use my back row, and potentially sit on Yugioh, but we saw that there was a Dark Ruler, so I don't think it mattered, because again, I had no interruptions after that. It is what it is. So going first, the Blue Boy gets, you know, Veilord Impermed. That's probably always going to happen. It's a bummer, because that Blue Boy search probably is going to be a Judgment search, right? If not a Secrets, if you happen to draw the one of Judgment. So again, try to get something going with Magician's Souls. Again, not the best, but again, that one card Dogmatica Engine comes into play. Use Maximus to kind of gain value out of that. People are not, you know, preparing for Maximus. So I think, you know, it's still solid. And search 5 and special summon Yugioh. So busted. Search a 6th card, right? Just in case. If the Yugioh is dealt with, Fleur is still in hand. And I'm not sure what my sets are. Mystic Minus, whatever. I can still use Fate to banish the Mind Right. And can I go for a game? It might be the case. No, Spellbook of Fate is once per turn. You know, potentially put my own Yugioh face down. You know, special summon or normal summon a weaker Blue Boy, get in eventually for some damage, keep Fleur just in case. The Linker Evo is still there for more protection for Yugioh, and I think I have a Judgment set, no? Set, or at least I should be setting Callby as well. Cripple my opponent's extra deck here with the Maximus. Try to use Omega, get Growth, but I think that's fine, no? And this should indeed be the duel. So it's really cool. I like the Dogmatica card, especially with Servant back at 3, right? It turns on your engine. It's another spell, a very powerful spell. A board breaker, actually, also. Well, board breaker, yeah, you know what I mean. It kind of forces out your opponent's negation, but I like the toon table. I definitely like it, because without it, I'm always begging for spells, right? And then relying too much on only secrets and only master, that's a bit too few. So again, suggestions are definitely welcome. Thanks for watching. Feel free to leave a comment or like. If you enjoyed the video, leave them signing out. Peace.